Hello, my beautiful friends. Today is day 4 of Celtic Advent, November 18th. And today, I have to say, if you're new to the series, I used Grok to create a Celtic Advent calendar. Celtic Advent is longer than traditional Christian Advent. And I'm vetting the calendar as we go. So I had just made sure that it functioned when I created it, and each day I'm going through. So I will say that the one thing that I think it lacks is direct Christian principles, right? It has some light connections on certain days, and some days are better than others. Struggled a little bit with this day. I do a lot before I come on the video just to get myself set up. So like I light my candle and I say my prayer. I go out and I pick out the stones that I'm going to put in the cairn. And, I do sort of a little bit of work before and a little bit after the video so that you don't have to sit here through everything. I listen to the YouTube video just to make sure that it's something that I would want to recommend to you. And so far, I will say that the selections of music that have been picked have been excellent. So that's good. And I think that it does match the Celtic pre-Christian world to the Christian world, although I'd like to see a little bit more on the Christian side. And I think it struggles because there's not a whole lot of daily devotionals, assigned to the Advent period. So today's theme is, or the feast/saint is Deer Cry on the Moor, and that didn't make any sense to me. So in Christian symbology and in pre-Christian Celtic symbology, the deer does feature very often. So, of course, in the Celtic understanding, deer were, and rabbits, different animals, were connections between this world and the other world. And then in the Christian story, there's St. Patrick's breastplate, and the story goes that there were a bunch of Patrick and his guys were walking and they were getting ready to be ambushed. And so Patrick said a prayer and they were all turned into a herd of deer. And then the ambushers abandoned their plan and they were saved. So St. Patrick's breastplate, which is a very, very popular prayer now, is about this story of Patrick and his people being transformed into deer. So the deer is a symbol of protection. So it does tie to that, but it didn't say that on this card. So, you have to kind of Scooby-Doo some things to get everything to connect together. So, we lit the candle, we rose and faced east, and there's the essay snippet is the deer cry on the moor, the ancient Celtic sign of soul stirring. I'd never heard it. I've never heard that, but I have heard that deer represent the Celts, and oftentimes in my life I see deer at very poignant points, and they always remind me that Spirit is with us. The prayer that we have for today is, and that we say 3 times, is the guarding of the 3 upon thee, the keeping of the King of Heaven, the peace of the King of Life. The guarding of the 3 upon thee, the keeping of the King of Heaven, the peace of the King of Life. The guarding of the 3 upon thee, the keeping of the King of Heaven, the peace of the King's life. And the hymn for today, Sounds of the Glen, is beautiful. It's a duet between a dude on a fiddle and a girl on a guitar. It's excellent. I will put the link in the description below. And then the journal prompt for today is recall a moment when you heard an animal sound in Carbon County. I did think it was great that Grok knew where I lived. A little spooky, but whatever, replace Carbon County with wherever you live. And I won't remember a sound, but I'm going to remember a story. A few years ago, a few of my girlfriends and I I hiked a pretty complicated section of the Appalachian Trail, and we decided we wanted to camp, but there wasn't any dispersed camping on the trail, so we decided to do a blue blaze, and it was up this mountain. It was so horrible. It was like, by the time we got up there, I thought we were gonna die. It was hard, and I was so tired and I was so frustrated, and like I really was frustrated with everything that was going on because I was leading this troop and people weren't getting along, and it was a hard hike and I was tired, and all of a sudden I looked up and there was a deer right next to me, like literally like 5 feet from me. I couldn't touch it, right? It wasn't that close, but it was like, just through like a little tree, and the deer just stood there and stared at me. And my father had recently died, and I could just feel that this deer was like from the other world to encourage me, to tell me that everything was going to be okay, and everything was okay. I mean, here we are today. So I do have a deer story of my very own. The Gaelic phrase for today translates to "Be Thy right hand, O God." And I will say that yesterday, my friends over at Nazareth House, and I'll put a link to them below too. They're doing a Celtic Advent as well, and the message yesterday from their work that they're doing is that we often tack on prayer like when we need it, or we tack on prayer at the end of the day if we have time for it, when really we should be starting the day with it. And that's certainly the spirit of the Celts, because the Celts prayed in a way that we don't. We pray for things. We pray in certain places, but the Carmina Gàidhlig shows us that they prayed. They had 15 prayers for how to milk a cow. They prayed. It was really part of the fabric of their everyday, every minute life, and they relied on God and Mary and the archangels and Bridget and their saints. They relied on them all the time for everything, no matter how big or how small. And we really should start our day in prayer, and then we should, incorporate prayer into all the things that we do in our life. And I think that's a really, really good message. So I feel like that, is probably what I'm going to write about today. So, do you have a good deer story? I'd love to hear it in the comments. And I look forward to hearing your stories. I am wishing you all the very best and all the brightest. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.